So, an interesting event here. This what happened in Singapore, the meeting between Chairman Kim and Donald Trump, and it raises a question that I don't know the answer to, and I thought maybe we could kind of crowdsource an answer to this question. I think that we all agree, Democrat, Republican, whatever, that if reaching out to Kim and beginning a dialogue leads to a reduction of Kim's violence against his own people, an increase in the quality and standard of life in North Korea that is not accompanied by an increasing repression. Keep in mind, the United Nations 4 years ago said that the level of violence against human beings in North Korea, the level of propaganda being used against human beings, against people, citizens in North Korea, is only analogous. It's only similar to that seen by the Nazis in Germany in the 1930s and the early 1940s. That's how bad North Korea is. But I think that we can all agree that if this outreach makes things better in some way for the North Koreans and for the anxieties of the South Koreans and for the region as a whole, and ultimately for the United States, since Kim now has nukes and has delivery vehicles, missiles that can reach Chicago or even Washington, D.C., probably good for us too. But that said, and by the way, this was what Barack Obama campaigned in the primary in 2007 on, that he was willing to reach out to Kim. And he was absolutely trashed for that by all of the Republicans, as well as a number of Democrats, including Hillary Clinton. But Obama had said he'd be willing to reach out to Kim. Trump reached out to Kim. At a certain level, if that produces something good, I'm willing to give him credit for that. But there's something that has me completely baffled that I'm turning to you for thoughts on in this first hour of our program today. We know that and that's the military exercises off the coast of Korea, of the two Koreas. These have been going on since the 1950s. You will recall in 1947 or 48, Harry Truman's administration, at the advice of Secretary of State Dean Acheson, withdrew U.S. troops following World War II, withdrew U.S. troops from South Korea. Kim's grandfather immediately invaded South Korea. And so we've had troops there ever since. And pretty much ever since, that started the Korean War, which Dwight Eisenhower ran as a Republican in 1952 on a campaign of vote for peace, vote for Eisenhower. You've heard me play that clip here on this program for years. So Eisenhower ran as the peacenik, as the George McGovern of his day, and he won, and he ended the Korean War, or he at least signed a truce. I'm not even sure it's a truce. I'm not sure it's an official armistice, but whatever it is, we paused the Korean War. And that's what Eisenhower was elected to do. And ever since then, starting a couple of years after that, Eisenhower organized these military exercises with the government of South Korea that really picked up steam in the 60s after Park took over in 1965, the military coup that led to the modernization of South Korea. And these military exercises, Trump just gave it away. He just gave it away. Now, we don't know if he was just talking. I mean, so far, the U.S. military is saying, hey, as far as we know, we're still doing the exercises. We don't necessarily listen to Trump, apparently. But North Korea, the newspapers, giant headlines. Military exercises over. Chairman Kim does brilliant negotiation. Puts his thumb on Trump. Stops Trump and his awful exercises. No more intimidation. Chairman Kim backed Donald Trump down. Chairman Kim cowered Donald Trump. Trump hiding in the corner because Chairman Kim got what he wanted. Number one, no more exercises in the Gulf or on the sea off the coast of North and South Korea. And these were huge military exercises. I mean, 20,000 Korean troops, 20,000 American troops, battleships, aircraft carriers, destroyers, bombers. I mean, this was huge stuff. So the North Koreans are saying, number one, we got rid of that. And number two, every time we do something in the direction of denuclearization, the U.S. is going to reduce their sanctions against us. It's what's called phased reductions. Neither of those, which means that because Kim is saying, hey, he's already blown up, his nuclear missile testing site that was already falling apart. He blew it up, and so now, hey, reduce some of those sanctions. So that's the second thing that is in the North Korean papers. And by the way, the Chinese and Russian papers saying, yeah, Kim got two major victories from Trump. What did Trump get from Kim? Absolutely nothing. According to according to everybody, right? Absolutely nothing. And this agreement, I've got the agreement sitting here in front of me. We commit to establish new relations. We will join in our efforts to build a lasting and stable peace. We reaffirm the Panmunjom Declaration of April 28. It's nothing. They're gonna find some old remains of our soldiers from the Korean War, and for several $1 million apiece, they'll ship them back to us. That's it. That's what Trump got. Now, we know that North Korea wanted us to stop the military exercises. They killed almost 40 Americans a few years back when they fired a submarine fired a missile into a U.S. ship and sank it. They killed a bunch of Americans in protest of these exercises. China has been protesting these exercises forever. Russia has been protesting these exercises forever. China and Russia, of course, being two of the three countries, South Korea the third, that actually have borders with North Korea. So Putin wanted the exercises to end. Trump says we'll end the exercises. Chairman Xi of China wanted the exercises to end. Trump says, cool, we'll end the exercises. Chairman Kim of North Korea wanted the exercises to end. Trump says, cool, we'll end the exercises. All three of them also wanted phased reductions. In other words, every time Kim does any little thing, we reduce the sanctions. Whereas the position that the United States has always taken is once North Korea's denuclearization reaches the point where it cannot be reversed, we will start rapidly lifting sanctions. But until then, it's all just talk. And we have heard this talk for 70 years, 60 years, however long it's been. We've been hearing this talk for years and years. I guess it's been 60 some odd years. So the question, why did Trump give this away? Why did Trump do what North Korea, China, and Russia wanted? And by the way, at the time, South Korea is trying not to embarrass Donald Trump, but they haven't come out and explicitly endorsed what Trump said. They made a vague statement that said, oh, yeah, anything that works toward peace is a good thing. In other words, we're not going to embarrass Donald Trump. But what American intelligence wanted, what the American military wanted, what American politicians wanted of both parties, what I believe the American people wanted, which is actually dismantle your nukes and, come into the world and let some of those hundreds of thousands of people in your gulags, I mean, these violent prison camps for people who merely had the temerity to have a little tiny portable radio so that they could listen to South Korean news and find out what's going on in the world. You do that, you're in prison for the rest of your life in North Korea, if not executed, just for having a damn radio. I mean, at the very least, Trump could have said, okay, we'll give you all this stuff if you'll just, make it legal for North Koreans to have radios. No. So why did Trump do what Xi of China wanted, what Putin of Russia wanted, what Kim of North Korea wanted, but not what is in America's best interest? Why did he do that? What did he get out of this? What does Donald Trump get out of this? Is it that he wants to build a hotel on the beach in North Korea? He made a reference to that in the speech. Is it that you know, he owes something to the Russians big time? I think it's enormous amounts of money that he's borrowed. Others think it's, you know, Putin's got a PP tape on him. God only knows. Is it that he owes something to them and he did it to help Putin? Is it that he owes something to the Chinese? They just invested $1 billion in his hotel in Indonesia.